New this week, graphic novels and trade paperbacks include The Invincible Iron Man, Uncanny X-Men Fear Itself, Lobo, American Vampire, Uncanny X-Men, The Tower Chronicles, X-Men, The Walking Dead, Marvel Zombies Destroy, The Whole of Tank Girl, Absolute Sinestro Wars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Daredevil, American Vampire, The Mighty Thor, Wolverine and the X-Men, Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, Saga of Swamp Thing, The Flash, Black Panther, Venom, Voodoo, and Where Is My Shogun? New this week staff pick, Wolverine and the X-Men and Batman Incorporated. New this week spotlight, Happy, and Star Trek The Next Generation, Doctor Who. New this week bestseller, Hit Girl and Talon. New action figures this week include Marvel Universe, Marvel Legends, Iron Man, Deadpool, Doctor Doom, Mystique, US Agent, and Punisher. Pop figures, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse 2-pack, and Leatherface. Frankenstein collectible figure. Beemo from Adventure Time 5-inch figure. Kid Robot vinyl, Nibbler from Futurama. Raj from The Big Bang Theory Wacky Wobbler bobblehead. New Godzilla Fusion Series vinyl toys. New t-shirts this week, Zombie Time, Batman Incorporated, Superman logo restocked, and Fables logo. New DVDs this week include Adventure Time, the complete first season, Terra of Mechagodzilla, Planet Z, Naruto Shippuden, DVD set 11, and Gamera, War of the Monsters collection. New board games this week include Flashpoint, Last Night on Earth, Timber Peak, Mythic Battles, Core Spelltome, and Mage Wars. New this week, Mercs Miniatures, ISS, and Texaco.
Is that cool?
Creepy and Eerie archives have been restocked. Hear what owner Randy has to say about his all-time favorite horror magazine.
Alright, so we just got a bunch of Creepy and Eerie magazine hardcover collections back in here at the shop. These are among my favorite comic books of all time. Creepy normally would collect 4 or 5 stories per magazine issue. So in one hardcover volume you get quite a few stories. We got volume 1 of Creepy and volume 1 of Eerie, along with just about every collection that Dark Horse has done so far, reprinting both magazines. So I think we have like volume 1 through 11 of Eerie, maybe 1 through 12 of Creepy. You can't go wrong. Frank Frazetta cover, Wally Wood, Reed Crandall, Alex Toth, Alfred Akala, Richard Corbin are just a couple of the names that come to mind immediately. Art doesn't get any better, really, collectively, in any ongoing comic book series, I would say, than Creepy and Eerie magazines. I mean, they are the pinnacle, I would say, of horror comic books, along with EC Comics in the 1950s. And they're comparable to them because the reason they got away with printing a lot of the stuff they did, horrific and partial nudity and horrific imagery, is that publishing in a magazine format, they could get around the comic book code, and they didn't have to adhere to that. So I highly recommend you checking out both Creepy and Eerie magazine hardcover collections. $49.99. It's actually a great price. They're printed in the original size, and we have, again, all of them in stock, I think, here at the shop. And we're running a 40% off hardcovers this weekend, so you can get these as cheap as $30. So $30 for the quality of art and story in these comics, regardless of what volume you pick up, and the fact that a majority of them are standalone stories. And Halloween right around the corner, you can't go wrong. Really can't go wrong.
Happy #1 came out today, Wednesday, New Comic Day. Morrison and Robertson's creator-owned Image title. If you've been following anything in the news media circuits as far as comic books go, you read a couple articles that Morrison is leaving the superhero genre for in the next year or so. He's going to tighten up Batman, Action Comics, and then of course we have what is like Multiversity coming out soon, which is I'm pretty excited about. But anyway, back to this. It's his gritty answer. I don't know if it's an answer to anything. Maybe Mark Miller's Kick-Ass and Secret Service and all that kind of stuff, Garth Ennis, and what people have been kind of following suit as far as gritty Americanized comics. And when you first read it, you're going to get that feeling, you know, some some dirty language and some murder town, but then it slowly, it doesn't slowly, I mean it's the first issue, so towards the end you start getting that Morrison feeling when a talking flying blue unicorn comes to the main protagonist. Now, a lot of Morrison books have always been semi-autobiographical. You have Animal Man, Flex Mentallo, Final Crisis, all these different books. If you go and you can read interviews, watch interviews of his stuff, and he tells you about what's happening in his life when he was writing these books. Now, a lot of people, or maybe not a lot of people, but I've read a couple things, one review on Bleeding Cool, that, you know, what's happening in Grant Morrison's life. And to me, right now, what's happening in his life is that he's taking a step away from the superhero books. And this is his, it's not really, it's like, I almost feel like this is his take on how the comic industry deals with writers and artists and things like that. There's the mob element, controlled creativity, controlling these creators as much as they can, trying to get that, squeeze that cash cow. You have the main character who was an ex-cop, and if you can make the parallel with like a writer, he's trying to take on crime and other bad stuff the best way that he can, work for hire, right? So my whole thing is that this is essentially, this may be Grant, and this is how he feels about how the whole industry is treating him, including us as fans. Well, not including me, but including most fans. And so you have essentially Grant at war with fandom because of what he's been writing and things that have made people upset. One of them being, of course, Final Crisis, which my opinion is I thought it was a great read. But then you have Happy, which hopefully is his shining light, his moment, his beacon in the darkness, which is a tulpa or something that us as fans that appreciate Grant Morrison's work created to kind of guide him towards this happiness, towards, you know, coming back to us with the superhero comics, or towards more of a positive aspect. I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and you can, in Morrison books, you can always find the layers. And it's always left up to interpretation, and that's what he's giving us. And that's what he's always given us. So I say, pick it up if you want that gritty feel, if you want that nastiness, that blood, them guts, bad words, things like that. And then pick it up if you're a Morrison fan and you want that heaviness that you may not be getting. I don't know. Check it out. That's my 2 cents.